Hello and welcome to Focus on Fantasy Romance, episode number 18, a podcast where we discuss books, genre, industry, and our geeky lives. We are doing an author mixer today, and the topic is self-care. So all of us here are very, very busy. We have kids, and well, most of us have kids or extended family, jobs, things that just stress us out like crazy. And we're going to talk about how we find the moments to de-stress, because basically self-care is taking care of yourself so you're not so freaking stressed out. And since the last 2 weeks we've missed the podcast due to self-care, I thought that that would be an appropriate topic. So if anyone objects, I will go first. I'm going to outline kind of what my day is like, and then how I sneak moments for me in throughout the whole day. So I don't see anyone objecting. So I have a full-time job. I have 2 kids and a husband. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I work out, and that is self-care. And I have to get up at the ass crack of dawn to do it, because as soon as my kids wake up, they're like, I want food. I'm thirsty. I want to go potty. So I get up and I do that. And then I get out the door, take my kids to school or daycare, whatever is appropriate for the day. I go to work and I work 8 hours. I get 2 15-minute breaks and I actually sneak away from my desk and walk and read. And so there's like a figure 8 inside my building, and I've got it down where I don't really have to pay attention to where I'm going. And the other walkers know if I'm going and I've got my head buried in a book, they will walk around me. So that's a great habit, and I get my 10,000 steps because I got a Fitbit, and that's part of my work incentive to keep us I'm dropping stuff healthy. And then at the end of the day, I come home and I purposely spend time with my kids so that they know who I am when they're older. And then I have, like I said, I think in the 2017 goals podcast, I have my bullet journal. So once the kids are settled for the evening, I go through my bullet journal, take care of anything that I wrote down for the day, and I make sure that I go to bed on time. And that's actually a typical weekday for me. And it might sound crazy if you're looking at it from the outside, but that's how I sneak in time for me. I don't go nuts. Amy, what do you do? What is your typical day, and what do you do to sneak in your moments for yourself?
Well, I work full-time too, and I have 2 kids. My kids are a little bit older. They're 10 and 14, and very independent, which is great. I have a husband and pets. So on a typical weekday, I am up at 6:30. I used to, before this year, I would actually get up at 3:30 in the morning because I had to be at work at 4:30. So this is a little bit of a different time schedule for me. I'm not used to, quote unquote, sleeping in. So it's been really hard to kind of get my body used to that. I was always an early to bed, early to rise person. My husband is the opposite. He is very much a night owl. So if we ever wanted to see each other and spend any time together, I was usually staying up past my bedtime to do that. So now that my schedule's changed a little bit, I can stay up a little bit later. So I get up at 6:30, take a shower, and wake my kids up at 7, and we're out the door by 7:30, and I go to work. And I'm allowed 2 15-minute breaks. I never take them. Just because I'm usually busy. I travel a lot for my job. I'm not in my office on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm always driving back and forth or doing something. So in the car is one of my big moments where I have my time to do what I want to do. So I turn on my music. A lot of times I will turn on my Spotify channel. If it's in the morning, I listen to Elvis Duran in the morning, just because that's like, he always has some kind of really like motivational thing going on at least once a week. So it always makes me feel good to listen to the radio station. And so whenever I'm in the car, that's when I do a lot of thinking about my writing, a lot of thinking about what I've been reading. So I spend a lot of time in the car playing music and just kind of thinking. Of course, I'm paying attention to driving too, but my mind is a lot of times on writing or what I've been reading lately, or the podcast or something like that. After work, come home, I will make dinner for my kids. My husband works nights, so he will already be at work by the time I get off. So as soon as my girls have their homework done and their dinner, they are independent, like I said, so they go off to their rooms to do their own thing. A lot of times they'll be watching YouTube or playing video games, and that's my time to write or read a book. So from there till the time my husband gets home from work, I'm on my own. There are times when I'm a little bit burned out, especially if I've just finished working on something that I was really frantic to get done. Yeah, my brain will be fried. I get to the point sometimes where I'm like, no, I just need a night. I will not open my computer. I won't look at my phone. I still chat with my girls, obviously, but I'll watch TV, turn off all the lights, and just kind of chill. And that's how I basically self-care for me. And then the other big thing that I love to do is really, really, and my husband laughs all the time, really, really, really hot showers, good, nice, soft pajamas, fuzzy socks. And then I just get on my couch and turn on my TV and I just veg out. So yeah, it's important. I get to those points where I'm like, I can't write another word. I can't think another moment about reading or looking at words. I just want to be dumb and stare at the screen for a while. So that's what I do. Paulina, how about you? How do you take care of yourself?
I escape. Let's see. I don't have kids. I am the guardian of a 26-year-old. But I don't wake up till 7 because I don't want to. I go to the gym most days, hang out with my boyfriend, take a nap, and then go to work. I know, like, I was listening to your guys' day, and I'm just like, oh my God. I sound like I'm, like, lazy or something, but, I mean, I have social anxiety, so to me, the hardest part of my day is the 8 hours I have to be at work, and I have to smile, and I have to be nice to people, both guests and the guests and employees. I work as a server, so I serve drinks. I work at a casino, so I work with people who are losing lots of money, and they're mad already. They want to yell at me. I don't got time for it, so half the time I'll ignore them or just, try to calm them down a little bit. But usually I try to get my writing in the morning. So I have about an hour from the time I wake up. Well, about 2 hours. From the time I wake up to the time I go to the gym, I usually try to use that hour to either edit or write. When I'm at work, that's when I do most of my writing. When I get home, it's literally called veg. Like, I walk in the door, my brother just looks at me and says, hey. I walk in my room, sit in the chair I am right now, put the TV right in front of me, and I veg. I play either a computer game, I play Xbox, play PlayStation, and I turn on real crime. Yeah, I don't know how that's relaxing, but it's relaxing to me. So, like, I just turn my brain off for a while. That's kind of my taking care of myself. Or, since this is more geared towards readers, my favorite, like, take care of myself, don't bother me, my boyfriend and brother knows. Sharon Kenyon book just came out. If she comes out, Gina Showalters, I just look at people and I'm just like, hi, I love you, kind of, leave me alone. My boyfriend will literally buy me food, and he'll take me to the bookstore, he'll drop me off at home, and he won't text me for 2 days. And I'll lay across my bed, and, like, my brother comes in, Paulina, you haven't got up? You gonna go pee? I'm like, well, I guess. And that's kind of what I do. I shut down. I either escape into books, or video games, or TV. And it works for me. I'm able to write. I'm able to keep sane. Basically, I'm able to go to work and not cuss people out. And for now, it's working, where I'm actually being able to, I guess I'm saying motivated to write, only because I know that one day I'll be able to lay across my bed for 2 days and not worry about going to work, hopefully. So, Ish, your turn.
Oh gosh. My day generally starts about 5:30. I get up, have half hour or so to myself. Then I get the kids up about 6:20, depending which kid I actually layer who I'm getting up, because some will get dressed real quick and some take, the whole 40 minutes before the bus gets here. So when they go to school, I've enjoyed my coffee. Sometimes I actually get lucky and I go sneak a, little nappy back in. I go back to bed. More often than not, though, I start my day. I don't have a 9 to 5. Guys, I don't physically have to leave my house for work. I edit. So I try to do that while the children are at school, because some of the content I edit, I really don't need them coming up behind me and seeing. They get home about 3:40. Actually, it's 3:44. Then my evening starts. I start doing the evening meal prep, the dishes, laundry call if we need it. Kids, we play video games, we watch TV, all kinds of stuff. For the most part, they're pretty self-sufficient. I have 10 kids total, 8 of whom live at home. They range from 18 down to 6. The 6-year-old generally runs off with my 10-year-old twins. So, once again, they're pretty self-sufficient as a whole little community. I kind of macro manage. I don't really have to sit there and listen for all the little things, because there's so many. One is going to snitch. So I listen for the big, kabooms, or something that tells me they're doing something they're not supposed to. Writing just comes and goes. I don't have a lot of time to do that per se, but I do read regardless of editing or not. Every night when I go to bed, I dedicate at least a half an hour to read something I do not have to edit, something that's already done and I can enjoy. Not that I, don't really work too, besides editing. We live on a farm, cattle ranch. So my husband does a majority of that. Every now and again, I go out to help, which is mostly me just standing there complaining I'm cold, watching him do all the work. But for the most part, that's really my day. I set my littles to bed between 8:30, and then after that, I'm free to do what I want for the evening. If I have a real long edit, I return to work. If not, I Netflix. I am a Netflix junkie. I once I turn it on, that's it. My day's done. I'm there. It doesn't matter. I'm there. I've started. So I try not to turn that on until I know I have time. I go to bed roughly 11:30, midnight, depending, if I manage to sneak a nap in or not that day. But I do try to not go to bed too early, because if I go to bed before 11, at least, like at 10, I'm up at 3 in the morning. It just throws my whole day off. So, but that's pretty much what I do for self-care. I enjoy reading in the evening. Netflix, like I said, playing with the kids. Surprisingly, you would think that's work, but a lot of times it is self-care, because joking. You're outside getting dirty, playing in the rain, things like that we do. So to me, that's self-care. Maybe not level, but it definitely is a mental level. And I think that is one of the most important kinds of self-care. Anybody else?
I'm surprised that you can function on that amount of sleep. I need 8 hours of sleep. I get 6 hours of sleep. Sometimes my Fitbit lies to me and tells me I get more than that, but I know better. Yeah, I'm just one of those persons that I need more sleep than that. Kudos to being. Well,
Caffeine,
I drink a lot of coffee too.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a local coffee place, and I'm in there. I'm in that drive-through every morning, Monday through Friday. They know what I get. I don't even have to order. I get in the drive-through and I'm like, hi, and they're like, do you want a favorite coffee drink? I'm like, yeah. I've got my own cup. I don't even get the cardboard cups anymore, because I've got my own reusable one, and they give me coupons all the time, and I think that's their way of saying, we know who you are and you're coming back tomorrow. But I mean, even with the coffee, I still need a lot more sleep than that. And I think that that's my biggest hurdle is making sure that I keep myself physically rested. So, well, it might, figure out your peak energy times. And that was one more self-care. I read a lot of nonfiction about how to be a better writer, better organize your time. So it's like your peak energy times, and my peak energy times are when I'm at work, which I can't control when I'm at work because I have a traditional desk job, so I can't be like, well, I don't like these hours, I'm going to switch it. So that's why I use my lunch hour to write. So that means my evenings are they're not a waste, but they're definitely not high focus time. So that's when I do my reading, if I can, if the kids are not rowdy, or like I do watch a lot of shows. I think Ray and I just started Frontier, the one with Jason Momoa. That's pretty good. He needs to take his shirt off, but
why doesn't he take his shirt off?
Well, it's up in Canada, so it's cold.
Just take it off for a second.
I know, right? So, but yeah, my husband and I, we watch a lot of shows together. That's kind of our time after the kids are in bed and stop getting out of bed for potty breaks. But so what is, of the things that you do to give yourself a moment or relax, what is your favorite self-care thing that you do? Mine is I knit, which I basically had to move to the weekends only because I can't do it in the evening because I don't have enough brain capacity, because it's a little more complicated. Like I'm doing some lace work, and I read, and the reading I can sneak in on my breaks and in moments in the evening. But what are your favorite self-care things that you do for yourself, obviously? Evie?
My favorite self-care thing that I do is, and anybody that knows me or has read my blog lately, you will know, is music. I love music. I'm addicted to music. I will put my headphones in, turn it on, lie under the covers of my bed with the lights off if I can get away with it, if my dog doesn't need to go outside or my kids aren't begging for something. It's very relaxing and soothing to me. I also love to watch TV. I have several shows that I'm addicted to, which have all been on hiatus lately, thank goodness, because otherwise I would never get anything done. Jake and I just started watching Legion, which is very good. I've only seen episode 1, and I'm already very interested in what happens next, and I'm like, gosh darn it. And I find myself, if I'm listening to music and my daughter gets so mad, my 14-year-old, because she'll be like, Mom, don't play Panic at the Disco. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, because I like that music. But that's okay, because I like it too. She's like, Mom, don't play Death of a Bachelor again. Why? He's hot in that video. Mom, be quiet. That's not funny. I'm only allowed to think he's cute. Well, I think he's cute too, so shut up. So, but yeah, so it really like refuels my brain. Sometimes I feel like, how when you're a writer, or even readers might know this, you've like put so much effort and time and thought into one project or one book that you've been reading, and that's all you could think about for so long. And then all of a sudden you're like, I don't have any more ideas. I'm completely out of fuel. So if I like watch a show and it's really emotionally like engaging, like Sherlock, or Killjoys or Dark Matter, and I'm like, oh my, I just feel completely refueled, and like my creative juices will start flowing again. I mean, different juices than Jason Momoa juices, but yeah, all those kinds of things, they just like refuel your creative response. So I love to do that when I start to feel burnout. I'll just take a couple of days and be like, I'm gonna watch a weepy chick flick on Netflix, or it was Hallmark movies at Christmas time. Told everybody I was like, I'm going to watch every Hallmark movie at Christmas because I'm a huge dope for Christmas. romance. But yeah, so I do all those kinds of things in it. But music and TV shows are probably my favorite things to do that always make me feel the best. You know, to get me pumped up and give me energy and keep me motivated. Because a lot of times I don't have any motivation and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. And then I have my friends who are like, but you have to do the stuff. And then I'm like, but I don't want to do the stuff. And then, you know, so we continue on that off and on. But if I fuel myself back up, I can get a long run before I need more help again. Paulina, what do you do? What do you like to do?
Well, I already mentioned most everything of mine. I mean, I'm simple. I sit at home, play video games, watch TV, play phone games, read. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I don't like being around people. So that kind of, people think I am a people person. It's kind of funny at work. I actually had a lady come yesterday because she gave me furniture, and she was in my house, and literally after she left, I had to like literally lay down. Like, I just don't like being around people, but I love this lady. Like, I hang out with her at work. I talk to her all the time, you know, but it's, I don't know. I'm weird. But, so my whole regimen is literally just, I turn my brain off. That's what my brother and I call it. My brother has a disorder of the head. So he does the same, it's called the same thing. We call it, like, sometimes we both have them. We're like, okay, you know what? He stays in his area, I stay in mine, and we shut down. I cook dinner, but we don't talk to each other. And, you know, he has music going, I have the TV going, and we won't talk for hours. And we call it our, you know, our recharge time, basically. So that's kind of what we do to kind of recharge and get everything back to going. Ish.
What do I like to do? Generally, I would say my favorite thing right now, I change interest so much, it's not even funny. I really think I have ADD or something. I just can't pay attention. I like to play with Photoshop right now. That's my new thing, so it's actually relaxing. Watch the videos on how to do new things, especially fonts, because those things just are hard. But so between and Netflix, that's pretty much my enjoy time. That's about all I do. Besides to harass my husband, sometimes I do that just for the fun of it. I flash him parts and, you know, run around the house. That's always fun.
That's always fun.
So I find it interesting that Amy was mentioning kind of refilling creative buckets, and Paulina mentioned that she is an introvert. I'm an introvert. I have, it's called generalized anxiety disorder, which basically means I don't like situations I've never been in before, and I don't like meeting new people because I don't know how they're going to react to me. And I also have mild depression, which I mentioned that we didn't have podcasts those 2 weekends in a row because I was suffering from I call the blurgs. And that's actually really my cutesy little way to say, you know what, I'm depressed and I don't really feel like dealing with anything. And for the longest time, I used to allow people to make me feel bad about that. But now I don't care because they can think whatever the heck they want. But if I need to turn everything down and recharge, then that's what I need to do to be able to function. I mean, there's nothing wrong with me taking time for me to take care of what I know will make me a better person, and being able to pay more attention to my kids and my husband. I guess I do compartmentalize a lot of things just to be able to handle everything that gets thrown at you. But, you know, I mean, if you have a life like ours, things can change in a snap and you have to be able to roll with it. Like I'm I'm a post reactor. So like I can handle high stress situations like a pro, and then as soon as everything is calmed down and fixed and done, then I freak out. It's really weird. That's just how I function. That's how I react. And now that I know that that's the way that I do it, I anticipate it. I can handle it better, and I can say, I need to take a little bit of time to not be around people and recharge me. And my husband understands, and my closest friends understand. And it's really important to have people in your life that understand. If you've got anybody that's trying to press upon you, well, this isn't normal, this isn't healthy, you need to pay attention to me. I mean, aside from children who don't know any better, then they're not going to be, they're not going to add value to your life as a friend or a whatever the relationship. I mean, you can't pick your family, but you can definitely tell them where the boundaries are, and if they continue to push, you can be like, well, we'll be polite, but you stay over there. So Paulina wanted to talk about maintaining relationships, and as I alluded to, my husband understands my quirks. We'll say quirks. And he's not like perfect himself, and I think that we complement each other fairly well because we just understand what's kind of going on in our brains, and that we need time to recharge either our creativity or whatever is stressing us out. But I purposely set aside time for my kids, and that's mostly in the evenings and weekends. And I set aside times for my husband, because he oh, hang on.
If you're talking to us, Elle, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Yep. Oh. Hey. Yeah, it helps if I click that button. Sorry, I didn't want you to hear the video game noises. I don't know. What was the last thing I said? That I set aside time for the relationships that are important to me. And it sounds really sterile, but I literally do that. Like if I want to maintain a certain friendship, I make sure that I set aside time for that friendship. And I think you've seen the memes around that you can, if so-and-so never makes time for you, that just tells you how important they are. Well, I purposely sit down and make time for the people important to me, because I can get wrapped up in something, or just wrapped up in self-care and not even notice that they're feeling neglected. Do you know what I mean? So I know, Amy, you said that your husband works second shift and you work first shift. What do you do to try to maintain the relationship?
Yeah, this is kind of new too, because back in April of last year, the company, we both worked for the same company, and the company got bought out and his job was eliminated. And so he changed jobs and he went to a second shift job, and it was a big adjustment for us. We were used to spending every night together. Like we would always, our like modus operandi would be that while we were eating dinner, we would always watch something together on the television that we both enjoyed. And now that his shift has changed, it's really difficult for us to find time to spend together. He gets off pretty late at night. He also likes to come home. He plays his video games. He doesn't go to bed till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He will sleep until it's time to pick the girls up from school or to go to work. So we don't often have a lot of time to spend with each other. He's off on Mondays, and every other Monday is my writer's meeting, which he is very understanding about the fact that I need to go to that, because that's one of those self-care things, is finding a group of supportive people who can give you positive feedback and keep you on the right path and tell you that, when you're feeling down about yourself and you're not feeling so successful, or you're not feeling like you're where you should be at a certain time, they're the people that kind of put you back on the path you should be on. Well, he's very understanding that I need that. And he's very supportive of my writing. I'm a person who's very much inside my head. I don't share a lot of things or the way I feel about things with people. He's probably a rare exception. He pretty much knows how I feel about most things. But even when I worry or I'm overly stressed out about something, I keep that inside myself. I don't even talk usually. I mean, I'll talk to my best. I have like a very, very best friend that's been my best friend since 7th grade. And she lives on the other side of the country from me. Having a particularly hard time, I will, talk to her about it. But I'm a very introverted person as far as how I'm feeling emotionally. I'm a very extroverted person when it comes to meeting people, feeling comfortable in new situations. Those kind of things don't bother me. But if I'm having something personal going on, I don't share that a lot of times. And it can lead to stress in relationships because I am unhappy with maybe the progress on my projects that I've been working on, or the fact that, I'm not selling books, or I'm not reading as much as I should, or I'm not doing the things that I should. And my husband is not in this world as far as the book world goes, so he doesn't understand that a lot of times. But we have been together for a really long time. And we've been married for a really long time. And we both understand that the other person isn't perfect. And don't get me wrong, he ticks me off a lot of days, and I tick him off a lot of days. But I think we're a couple that never goes to bed mad. And that's one of the things that we've learned in our marriage and in our life is we have to communicate with each other. And that's one thing that I have learned even recently is that if I'm upset with him or if he does something that hurts my feelings, instead of being pissed off at him and talking to him angrily, if I say, you did this and it hurt my feelings and here's why, he's much more receptive to that. Oh, yeah, somebody in the my husband's going to kill me for saying this. Someone in the chat mentioned sex. That's a wonderful stress reliever. We're a very active couple. We always have been. We were only together a month before I was pregnant with our oldest daughter. So that's not a problem for us. And that is a really good way to resolve relationship issues sometimes, is just to let off steam and de-stress in that way. So, yeah, I mean, it is hard to maintain those relationships, and especially he understands, he supports my writing, but he is not in this world, and he doesn't understand the stresses that come with having a part-time job that doesn't really pay you anything sometimes. And he's like, oh, well, you can just not write tonight. And it's like, that's not how this works. I have to maintain, a schedule, and I have to maintain a certain expectation or a level of quality for myself. And so he's learning as time goes on, but it is a little bit more difficult. He used to, before I was writing and publishing, he would be like, Amy, are you literally going to read all day long? And I would be like, yes, that is my plan. And he would tell people, she can read a book in like an hour. And I'm like, yeah, because I am not paying attention to anything else. If I don't get interrupted, I just read straight through from start to finish. So yeah, I've been rather lucky that he is trying to learn and accept those things and get better. We're trying to both get better at communicating about our stresses. But it is an added stress being, a writer on top of being a mom, being, an employee, being a friend, being a wife, being all these other things. So yeah, for writers and readers, I think, it's just something you have to learn and do the best you can with. Paulina, what do you do to maintain your relationship with your boyfriend? Like how does that come into play for you?
It's funny while we're sitting talking about self-care or whatever. That was my brother I was yelling at on the phone. Sorry, it looked like I was going crazy for a second. But with my boyfriend, it's harder because we don't live together. He has an 18-year-old daughter. He's getting ready to send to college. But for a while there, we were just doing like gym, eat, sleep. He leaves. I go to work. And I finally told him, I was like, this isn't a relationship anymore. It's boring, And I was like, we're just we're basically screw buddies that eat. And so we ended up deciding to have a date night every month. It started 2 months ago. So one day a month, we're gonna just us. We turn off our phones, we go away, we do what we need. The first date night, we ended up. What did we do? We went out to dinner. Then we walked on the beach. Just hung out. And then this other date night, I cooked. We stayed in. We watched 2 movies. I cooked steak and everything. And the next date night, we're going bowling. So to kind of keep it, I guess, new, we turn off our phones. I guess you could say that's how we kind of take care of it. Because with his daughter, she's a dance major. She's really busy. She's demanding, but whatever. That's his kid. And so it ends up with he's always busy with work. He works graveyard. I don't. We don't live together, so we have to carve time out. So it's a struggle, but we do it. And that's why I don't understand why couples always talk about, oh, I don't have time. Oh, we drew apart because we didn't have time. If you make time. Like I went out to lunch with him. We hung out for 3 hours. He's home taking a nap, and I'm here with you guys. It's all about making time, and that's what we do. That's how we've lasted. We're going on 6 years in July, which is a big record for me. My record was 3 months, and that boyfriend I threw out on the side of the road with trash bags. So that's kind of sad, but that's how I take care of my relationship. I talk, I communicate. I say, hey, look, this is what we need, and he knows. If I start, okay, it's not TMI, but I'll let you guys know. If it gets to the point where we've been so busy, we haven't had sex, I'll be like, dude, really? I'm neglected, And I was like, you're not the only. He's just like, oh my God. He's like, you're such a guy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And so, I mean, communication is all about communications because we're older. He's 45. I'm older. And so, it comes down to the point where when we were younger, like, ladies, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but when we were younger, it was like you look at him and all of a sudden he's like up and ready to go. And now we're just like, oh my God, we're so tired. You guys have kids. I'm running after a 26-year-old baby, and just you're tired. Like literally he'll come over, we'll look at each other and be like, all right, go to sleep. We'll try again tomorrow. And it all comes down to the physical part of your relationship is just as important as the mental and the community and all the other stuff. I see a lot of people like, well, sex isn't all that important to me. And I'm just like, are you a eunuch? Like it is important because your mind, body, and soul all go together, and it has to all work together. And so I think this last 3 months we've kind of drawn a lot closer together because we're maintaining all 3 now. It's not like one's no longer there. I mean, we went almost 2 months without ever having sex. I was like, what the is wrong with this picture? I was like, this is ridiculous. And to me, I think the most intimate part is the fact that you can. I mean, you don't have to, but it's the fact that he's there, you're there, and let's do it. So I think it's gotten better once we carved out time for ourselves. And we said, put down the phone, like during that time, I won't write. But I won't write, but then he'll sit there and he'll be like, oh, so where are you at in your book? What are you doing in your book? Who's having sex in your book? I'm like, shut up. I thought we're not talking about work. And he's all, doesn't matter. So who's having sex? I'm like, fine. I guess because they're having sex and we're not, might as well talk about it. But
that's so nice though.
It's cool. He's really supportive when it comes to my work and when it comes to what I'm doing. He's very supportive. That's one thing that I can say about him is that he's always supportive.
My husband tells everyone, my wife writes books. I'm like, I wish I could be like that. Hi, I write books. I don't even say.
My boyfriend tells him I write porn. He's like,
he's sold books on my behalf because he's a personal trainer, so he meets with people at the gym and they're like, oh yeah, my wife wrote this award-winning book, and like 3 days later I have a sale or something, and I'm like, oh, okay. Can you just go to door or something? Because I can't do the sales stuff. I can write it. I can't sell it. Can you sell it?
I think it's because when men brag about their women, I think in the end people are more likely to buy something because they're like, wait a minute, he's really supportive of her. You know, like you do get a lot of guys who aren't supportive of anything that their women do, and what I've noticed is like people even at work, they're like, he's so proud of you. He's always talking about your books, and it makes everyone else, I guess, more likely to either read your stuff or buy your stuff, whatever is when your man actually is proud. He's not like putting on a front about it. You know, you've seen guys who put on a front and you're like, yeah, you just want sex. So I think there's a difference. So yeah. Ash, your turn. She's shaking her head. You know, you can't be an introvert among introverts.
This is a podcast-ish. I mean, I know we're all introverts here, but you do need to.
I think she clammed up for the night. It's okay.
Well, I think unless we have any other topics, I meant to do this at the beginning of the episode, but author mixers are also for news. So we can do a round of our news. I know that 2 people on here have a big announcement, so I will go first because mine's just a little yay me. But I finished my editing pass of Deceiving the Bandit Lord, and it is currently about 45,000 words. So yay, the edit didn't kill me. And I'm taking a weekend break, so I'm not going to touch anything writing related for the weekend, and then I'm starting my second pass on Monday. So Amy.
Yeah, so my book, it's a paranormal romance, and it's called Judge and Jury. It was part of the Fall into Magic box set collection, and that collection actually ended, and we came off contract at the beginning of the week. And so this week on Thursday, I released the book as a solo title, Judge and Jury. And so it's a pretty fun story. It mixes a little bit of Creole lore as far as magic, and it has a little bit of science fiction in it just because I wrote it and I like science fiction. It has some religious, occult-ish historical things in it. It's a really fun story, and I really liked the characters, Jury and Dex. So Elle just posted that she's going to put the links in the show notes if anybody's interested in checking it out. It has a really beautiful cover that I was super proud of. Very purple. And so, yeah, and then I'm working on book 2 of the Aeon Project. And that is my Takamo Universe Cyborg series, and it's called Dark Star, and I'm super excited. Even though I haven't put any new words on it in a couple of days, I have been thinking very hard about where the story is going, and I think readers are really going to enjoy the series. At least I hope they do. And so, yep, that's my news for this week. Paulina has news too. Paulina, what's up with you?
So today last night, today, whatever. I hit publish on Beauty's Beast, which is my second book in kind of like the same world, I guess you can say. They're dealing with the same foe. It's a pirate. It's an ex-slave pirate meets beast underground guarding the Tree of Life. So it's a short read. It's, how much is it? It's like, I don't know, 90-something pages. It's a short read, but I think it moves at a good pace. I've had good feedback for it. So yeah, that one's up now on Amazon. It's only up on Amazon right now. I'm hoping to have it on all the other sites by the end of today. So that's my news story out.
Don't you have a pre-order?
Oh, yeah, duh. So thanks for reminding me. And I have a pre-order for Dual Guardian. That comes out on the 20th of this month. So I have 2 releases in the same month, so I am literally like running around like a chicken. But at least the chicken has, wings or something, I think. But yeah, that one's still up for pre-order. It's up for pre-order for $2.99. As soon as it goes live, it will jump to the regular price. So yeah, you want to get it in now. Thanks, Elle. I forgot.
Ish, do you have any news to share?
I'm about 60 pages on Maiden of Fire, fourth round edits. We decided to do another one, so she's almost there. I did sub a query. Get laid. If they say no, then I'll just. But I really love that place and their covers and their books. They're awesome. So if I can get in there and get a really nice cover, that would be wonderful. That's about really it. That's exciting though, because I have been writing Maiden of Fire since 2012, maybe 2013. It's been a while, so to me that's big excitement to see it almost perfect. We're gonna be perfect, but at some point you have to stop. So that's my news.
Okay, so that is our episode on self-care. On the next episode, we are actually doing a book chat. We are reading Stars Across Time by Ruby Lyons Drake. So we will come on Friday when we're recording this and speak about that book. It's a sci-fi romance. I've liked most of Ruby's stuff so far, so I think I'm 15% in. Hope you ladies have your copies and are ready to read. Okay, I had this thing copied. Hang on a second.
Sure, I'll get around to it.
Well, you read a book in 2 seconds, so I'm a slower reader because, like I said, I walk and read, so I'm not that fast. But thank you for joining us. If you like the podcast, please like, comment, and share. This has been episode 18. Have a good night.